now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! 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 Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's time for the second in our lighthearted double feature telling of the A Christmas Carol story. Hopefully you just tuned in and watched my coverage of Mickey's Christmas Carol, and now it's time to turn it over to the world of felt, and we're going to discuss The Muppet Christmas Carol, starring Michael Caine, Dave Goelz, Steve Whitmire, Frank Oz, Jerry Nelson, Stephen McIntosh, and Robin Weaver. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, this is going to be the second of two lighthearted tellings of the A Christmas Carol story. We just finished talking about Mickey's Christmas Carol, the land of animation. Now we're going to turn over to the world of felt, and we're going to discuss The Muppets Christmas Carol. And as always, our movie opens on Christmas Eve in 19th century London, as Charles Dickens and his friend Rizzo the Rat addresses the audience as narrators. We then meet Ebenezer Scrooge, a cold-hearted, stingy, grumpy, and selfish moneylender who does not share the merriment of Christmas. He goes on to reject his nephew Fred's invitation to Christmas dinner, dismisses two gentlemen who are collecting money for the poor, and tosses a wreath at a carol-singing Bean Bunny. His loyal employee, Bob Cratchit, as well as the other bookkeepers, request to take Christmas Day off, since there will be no business for Scrooge to conduct, to which he reluctantly agrees. Scrooge then leaves for home, while the bookkeeping staff begins to celebrate Christmas. In his house, Scrooge encounters the shackled ghosts of his late business partners, Jacob and Robert Marley, who warn him to repent his wicked ways or be condemned to suffer in the afterlife just as they do. They then inform him that 3 spirits will visit him during the night. At 1 o'clock, Scrooge is visited by the childlike ghost of Christmas past, who takes him back in time to his childhood and early adult life, with Dickens and Rizzo hitching a ride as well. They visit his lonely school days, followed by his time as an employee under Fozziwig, who owned a rubber chicken factory. Fozziwig and his mother throw a Christmas party where Scrooge meets a young woman named Belle, with whom he falls in love. However, the ghost shows Scrooge how Belle left him after he chose money over her, to the point where a tearful Scrooge dismisses the ghost as he returns to his bedroom. At 2 o'clock, Scrooge meets the gigantic, merry ghost of Christmas present, who shows him the joys and wonder of Christmas Day. Scrooge and the ghost visit Fred's house, where Scrooge is made fun of for his stinginess and general ill will towards all. Scrooge and the spirit then visit Bob Cratchit's home, learning that his family is content with their small dinner. Scrooge also takes pity on Bob's ill son, Tiny Tim. The ghost of Christmas present then abruptly ages, commenting that Tiny Tim will likely die before the next Christmas. Scrooge and the ghost then go to a cemetery where the latter begins to fade away, and the ghost of Christmas yet to come then appears to Scrooge as a tall, silent, cloaked figure and takes Scrooge into the future. Scrooge and the ghost witness a group of businessmen discussing the death of an unnamed colleague, saying that they would only attend the funeral if lunch was provided. In a den, Scrooge sees a charwoman, a laundress, and the local undertaker trading several possessions of the deceased to a fence or moving man named Old Joe. The ghost then transports Scrooge to Bob's house, revealing that Tiny Tim has died and the Cratchits are mourning him. Scrooge is then escorted back to the cemetery, where the ghost points out the wretched man's neglected grave, revealing that Scrooge himself is the man who died. Overcome with emotion, Scrooge tearfully vows to change his ways and embraces the ghost's robes before finding himself back in his own bedroom. Discovering that it is Christmas Day, Scrooge decides to surprise Bob's family with a turkey dinner, and he ventures out with Bean, Dickens, and Rizzo, as well as the charity workers, in order to spread happiness and joy around London, reconciling with Fred as well as old Fozziwig. Scrooge then goes to the Cratchits' home, at first putting on a cold demeanor before revealing that he intends to raise Bob's salary and pay off his mortgage. Scrooge, the Cratchits, Fred, and the entire neighborhood proceed to then celebrate Christmas as Dickens narrates how Scrooge became a second father to Tiny Tim, who escaped death as our movie comes to its close. As I touched on a little bit the previous episode where I discussed Mickey, as much as I love the Muppets, this one was really hard for me to sit through initially when I was younger because, again, as I addressed, Mickey and the gang got it done in 25 minutes. Kermit and the gang are taking like an hour and 40. Bruh, come on. Mickey and Co. did it in less time and gave us the story just as good. Now, I do love the way they flipped the tale to make it Muppety. You know, you've got Kermit as Bob Cratchit, Robin as Tiny Tim, Fozzie Bear as Fozziwig. You've got Bunsen, Honeydew, and Beaker as the two men trying to collect money for the poor. You know, there's so many great things. You've got Gonzo as Charles Dickens alongside Rizzo the Rat. There's so many great characters from the Muppet universe that were thrown into this. There's even a brief cameo by Sprocket, the dog from Fraggle Rock, in the very beginning. But I just, as much as I love the Muppets, I feel like they missed the mark when it comes to what Mickey and crew did. Even if this had only been an hour instead of an hour and a half, closer to an hour 45, maybe I would have been a little bit easier to get this, behind it. I love Michael Caine as Scrooge, though. I think he does a great job. The songs are good. Virtually all the songs in this are in my rotation on my Christmas playlists. Robin singing Bless Us All, the entire cast singing Scrooge, Kermit singing One More Sleep Till Christmas, and can we please address When Love Is Gone? That song is so gorgeous, but most DVDs and Blu-rays have that song omitted. The Disney company has only just this year reinserted that song into the film, which granted, it's slow and it kind of kills the flow of the movie and the pacing and everything. But without that song, when Scrooge is in his past, When Love Is Found as the finale makes absolutely no sense. Zero. None. Now, I do have a funny story to tell about this. I'm not a big believer in spirits or ghosts in anything. But a few years back, I want to say this was 2019, there was a church near my old house that was doing a free screening of Muppet's Christmas Carol in Pomona, California. Being a Muppet fan, having never seen it on the big screen, I went. There were no floor seats. You could only sit up in the balcony. Now, I go, I take my seat. The movie's about to start. It gets to the part in the very beginning where it shows the dedication to both Jim Henson and Richard Hunt, both of whom had died before the movie came out. As that flashed upon the screen, I felt two ice-cold bursts of air hit me. Now, most people would shrug it off. Whatever. But I didn't feel those cold bursts any other time during the show. So it's not like it was the AC running or something. So Renegade, what does this have to do with the story? We're in the balcony. Jim Henson and Richard Hunt, the two the movie was being dedicated to, were the two original performers of Statler and Waldorf, the two Muppets who always sat in the balcony heckling the show. Was it spirits? Was it a ghost that arrived at that moment? Was it their ghosts that entered the room? Some people would say yes. Others would say you're crazy. Curious to know what you guys think. Did I have an experience with ghosts? Let me know. I do enjoy this film, though. I don't want to downplay it like I don't like it. I just don't feel it's as good as some of the other variations. With that in mind, when it comes to my rating for Muppet's Christmas Carol, it gets 4 out of 5 stars for me. Can't put it on the same level as Mickey. So got to put it a little bit lower than that. 4 out of 5 stars for Muppet Christmas Carol. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new episode of Renegades Reviews, when we officially wrap up our Christmas Carol tellings and we discuss 1999's made-for-TV version of A Christmas Carol, starring Patrick Stewart, Richard E. Grant, Joel Grey, Ian McNeice, Desmond Barrett, Bernard Lloyd, Dominic West, and Laura Frazier. But we're not done there. Oh, no, no. Even though that may be the last official telling, we also have new release Saturday. And we'll be taking a look at the Apple original film Spirited, starring Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds, Octavia Spencer, Sunita Mani, Patrick Page, Marlo Barkley, Lauren G. Woods, and Tracy Morgan, with its musical rendition of the A Christmas Carol story. But the fun doesn't end there, folks. Oh, no, no. So later on that evening, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as well as over on the Jeff Meacham Network and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, it's time once again to tune in to Open Mic Night. The Renegade, myself, will be there. Noah Foster, the Simple Man, will be there. James Hebert will be there. Possibly Jeff Meacham. And you never know who else may come through the doors of the club and step up to the microphone to discuss the week in professional wrestling. You don't want to miss out on any of that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on Renegades Reviews, on New Release Saturday, on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media. We're barely halfway through the month. We've still got like 15 days left to cover. You don't want to miss out on any of it. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, or anytime we go live, as is the case with Open Mic Night, Statboy Sports Bar, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Charles Dickens, fans of A Christmas Carol, fans of the character of Ebenezer Scrooge, fans of Michael Caine, fans of the Muppets and Kermit the Frog and Gonzo the Great. Share these videos. anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content. It's the only way we're going to boost up visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on these videos. Thank you once again to everyone who joined me and tuned in today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.